Welcome everyone to a little audio described foam rolling workout for people with visual impairments. I'm Evan, the blind strength coach from Caneandablefitness, and we are going to be going over a lot of different areas in the body that you can use a foam roller for in order to help open them up, find adhesions and trigger points, and hopefully get a little bit of good recovery work in. Now, I will say as a little disclaimer that foam rolling isn't shown to be the best recovery modality out there, but it does get you moving around, pushing lymph around, and actually being able to hit some different positions than you probably normally would. It can also tell you where there's different trigger points and adhesions in your body, so you can correct those down the line with corrective exercises. So if you know, for example with me, the outside of my hip does tend to have a lot of adhesions, I do have to make sure I'm doing corrective exercise in order to help strengthen that area so the brain isn't causing different issues and locking down that muscle. That being said, let's go ahead and go over a lot of different parts of the body and how to foam roll them. Let's start with probably the most common one, where we're going to be lying on our back with the foam roller at the base of our neck and working our way down the spine. So, when I do that, I'm going to have the foam roller, again, starting at the base of my neck. My feet are going to be flat on the floor. I'm going to cross my arms like I'm reaching opposite shoulders. Then I'm going to pick my hips up to put more pressure on the foam roller, and I'm going to slowly roll down my spine. You can give a couple of passes in the upper back. Remember, going about halfway down the back and then all the way back up to the base of the neck. You don't really need to go onto the neck. What you can also do if you really need to sit on a certain position is take it easier on your neck and bring your hands behind the back of your head to support yourself like you're really, really lounging. That's going to allow you to sit, rock that chest open a little bit more and focus on one area of the spine. This is really nice for me with my scoliosis, so being able to pop my back and then decompress a little bit. Again, then I follow that up with corrective exercise. Moving further down the back, we're going to go in the lower back. So I have to readjust my position a little bit. Sit it there, then rock, open. I can go all the way to my tailbone, then again back up. This might be a little bit more tender in everyone, but being able to get things opened up and not resisting that extension, that opening of the spine, that's going to help get your back used to that position a little bit more as well, especially since we're all really rounded over most of the time. This extension might feel a little bit foreign, so give yourself the support that you need. Again, you can do a few passes through that, and then let's hit the rest of the lower body while we're at it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at my ankles. The feet are really hard to get, and I'll show you guys a quick little way to be able to do that with a different device here in a bit. But we're going to start at the calves. So I'm going to sit on my rear again and put the foam roller on the back of one of my ankles, right where their Achilles tendon is. Then I'm going to have my hands behind me as support. I'm going to place my other leg on top of that ankle that's placed on the foam roller. And then I can just use this pressure and knead back and forth by bending that leg that is down on the foam roller into my chest and then back out. Or I can use my hands in order to pick my lower body up and get some bigger strokes and a little bit more weight onto that calf. Okay, I'm working my way up into the meat of the calf and then all the way up to the back of the knee. And then I can rinse and repeat that for the other side. There, we're going to be having where the calf and the hamstring are kind of interacting with one another behind the knee. What we can do is we can skip right behind the knee and we can go straight to the hamstring. So as I readjust myself, I'm going to do the same thing. Keep in mind if this is overly tender, you could do both calves, both hamstrings, whatever at the same time. But now I'm going to cross again, my right over my left, so my left hamstring gets a little bit more pressure. Pop up, and then roll that hamstring. Now keep in mind, we're going to have the adductors on the inside of the thigh, and then we're going to have some IT band, TFL, some different things going on the outside of the thigh as well. So if we go and we're trying to turn inside, try to touch on some of that stuff, especially as we get closer to the hip, or turn to the outside and touch some of the outermost hamstrings. That is the way to hone in on that a little bit more. And feel free to kind of rotate around as you're doing so, because then it's going to allow you to get, again, the different portions of the hamstring and different other muscle groups that are on the very inner compartment or outer compartment of the thigh. Okay, now what we can do is actually get our glutes as well. So I'm just going to go further up, and what I can do is I could just do straight on, or if I'm going to be hitting my left glute, I'm going to take my left ankle, my right foot is down on the ground, so my knee is popped up. I'm going to put that left ankle up on that right knee, and I'll be able to turn my body onto the left glute a little bit more. And you're probably going to find some more spots get opened up from that. Okay, now to be a little bit more focused on the outside of the hip, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, if we're doing the left outside of my thigh, I'm going to put my left elbow down, the whole forearm down, and then I'm going to place my left thigh on the foam roller, and we'll start just above the knee. And then I'm going to take my right foot, and I'm going to bring it out front. I'm also taking my right hand and putting that out front. So I have 3 points of contact between my left forearm, my right hand, and my right foot in order to take pressure off this usually very sensitive spot. This is going to allow you to customize the experience for what you need, and also be able to be a little bit more conscious of how much pressure you need and being able to apply that very quickly on the spot. I can really easily take pressure off of my foot or my right hand in order to allow that hip to sit in the foam roller a little bit more if necessary. So that's the outside of the hip. You can work your way up to the actual hip that way. Then we're going to work on the inside of the hip as well. So what I can do is I can put both forearms on the ground, so my chest is facing the ground. I'm going to kick my left leg out to the side. Whether it be straight or not is up to you and your flexibility. I'm going to keep it bent, my knee at 90 degrees, so my foot, bottom of the foot is still pointing the same direction as the other bottom of the foot, nice and straight, but my left thigh is pointing out at 90 degrees for about 9 o'clock. So again, chest facing the ground, I work from the inside, just above the knee, all the way up into the groin. And again, that's going to get those adductors a little bit. Be able to apply appropriate pressure, however many times you need back and forth. So that covers that. But how about the upper body? We need to make sure that we can hit the shoulders and the lats a little bit as well. The chest, biceps, triceps, forearms, those will take a smaller tool. And again, I will show you that in a second. But for shoulders and lats, what we can do is we can lie down on our side, the side that we want to work. So now I'm on my right side, and I'm going to have the foam roller right there up in my armpit. So my arm is reaching over that foam roller. I'm lying on my right side, and the foam roller is underneath that right armpit. Then I'm going to be able to access a couple different spots. So I can really dig into that big back muscle that connects underneath there in the armpit by rolling onto that. Again, propelling myself with my feet and my other hand. And I can also turn open a little bit more, so my chest will be facing more toward the ceiling, and expose that big ball of the shoulder muscles right there and go above that joint and foam roll there. Again, this is an area that tends to get really adhered with the lat and the shoulder muscles all kind of crisscrossing there. So this is a good one to be able to hit on, especially if you have issues reaching overhead with comfortability. Now, for that smaller tool, for these smaller different areas, I have what is called a Naboso ball. So it has this patented little texture on it. You can also use like a lacrosse ball, a T-ball, something with a little bit of give to it that's not too mean. So we don't want something as mean as like a golf ball. And we also want something as soft as, say, a tennis ball. We want something with a little bit of give to it, but it's also going to give feedback to our systems. So for feet, I would just be able to roll out my feet. And then same thing with the chest, bicep, tricep, forearms. Be able to take that ball in the other hand, hit the spot that I need to do, and then just roll it around on there, giving feedback into these areas. So me, I know that a lot of times people have their wrist extensors, so the top of the forearm, those tend to be really tight because they tend to be under weak compared to the flexors, the big muscles on the other side. So being able to do this, open up those extensors and follow it up with a good exercise like a reverse curl is a great way to be able to help that asymmetry. Hopefully this is helpful for you, understanding in a bit more of an audible perspective how to foam roll the body. Go ahead, pick the exercises that work best for you. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot a comment down below, and we're going to be providing much more accessible fitness content for those of us in the blind community. If you, again, have any questions that are a little bit more specific to you and you like to email, you can do so at caneandablefitness@gmail.com, caneandablefitness@gmail.com. Ask your questions, and if I can help you by sending you a link or any other resource we've actually already made that can help you instantly, we will be happy to help.